What's going on, guys? So I want to show you a project that we started here a few months ago. Today we are in Seminole Heights. Seminole Heights is in the Tampa area, and it's a very up and coming area. I would say kind of proactive and forward thinking, kind of like St. Pete is. It's very forward as far as urban gardening and the eco-village movement and food forest all around that area. So I came out to this house probably about 4 or 5 months ago. Actually, originally I think I came here in October. Right now we're the third week into quarantine, and they brought me out for some consultation work to look at the food forest here. And this is a job we didn't do a design on. The homeowners, Angeline and Joe that live here are actually pretty awesome. They gave me a budget. They said this is what we have to work with, and we started with phase 1. And I've been so busy, I don't pick up the camera all the time like I had mentioned in some of the last videos, and now we've done phase 2, phase 3. We've actually tended to some other issues that were going on here on the property, and this has just turned out to be an unbelievable epic project, and I was really kicking myself for not getting you guys the before pictures. I mean, this was just a grass hole when we started. Nothing but bahia all over the whole yard. There's no irrigation here. Beautiful fence, as you can see over here behind me. That's Ipe, that'll never rot. Really gorgeous fence. They definitely spent a couple of extra bucks on that, but it'll last for the long term. And you can see as we look into the yard here, we've done a huge transformation here. This was just grass when we first got here. Like I said, we've been here in 3 or 4 different phases already. The phase that we're working on today, it's out here along the outside, and we're adding more varieties of ginger. We're adding more bamboo. They really want this closed-in look and feel, so we're adding Textilis gracilis. We're doing the blue chungii. We're doing the angel mist. We're doing some old hams, and I believe we might even have some Asian lemon in here. So there's 4 or 5 varieties here, and then as we move into the rest of the property, we've got another 4 or 5 varieties. We just put these native macho ferns in around the side of the building here. This is in kind of the shade edge per se. Looks like they got a bat house up over there already. Pretty cool. And you can see here, ton of rock, right? A lot going on in the yard here. Definitely has a little bit of that meditation garden feel. Really beautiful, beautiful sidewalks. And when I first came out to look at the food forest, they told me they had a huge overland water problem. They had a flooding issue here. Basically, they live really, really close to the Hillsborough River. And when the rains come and when we start to get really deep into those summer rains, the water literally sheet flows across the property, up against the house, into the next yard. There's springs all over this area. This is a really, really unique area. I'm kind of hoping, I am going to throw that drone up when we do, we can kind of see the river and what's going on around here. This is a neat area of Tampa. The lots are big. I mean, we're on like a ½ acre right now. There's at least a ½ acre, an acre empty lot here next to it. So not very common. We're at the end of the block, and you can see we put a dry creek in. They actually hired 2 or 3 other companies to do this that had failed prior. I had been actually a little bit intimidated by the project, not something that we've done a lot of. Also didn't want to be responsible for. But after working on phase 1, phase 2 of the food forest here, really getting to know the soil conditions, seeing the clay in the soil. This is something we don't deal with a lot. You actually dig a hole here and it holds water. Not typical for Florida whatsoever. But after watching what they had been dealing with these other contractors per se, I was like, all right, we're going to go ahead and spearhead this. We're going to take care of this. We're going to get it done right. We put in about 120,000 pounds of rock here, lots of boulders. We haven't actually seen it function properly yet, but it's holding really well together. And you can see up along the edge by the property line, we used vetiver grass, which the roots go way deeper than the Fakahatchee grass. That's going to stop that erosion. That's where it actually comes through the gate. And it does have a little bit of a slope topography kind of going this way on the property. So everything sheet flows towards the back. There's actually a spring there on that back fence line that just bubbles and trickles out. And you can see a really cool flowing creek. We've got a couple of passover bridges. We extended our Sherlock edging paths, which eventually might come over here to the barn area. We're not sure. They actually have some long-term goals out in this front area of maybe having a natural pond. Who knows, maybe having a half court for basketball. They've talked about all different kinds of ideas for that area. So I'll be excited to watch that kind of unravel. You could see we did use tons of Fakahatchee grass here. We used mealy grass here. Actually adding some variegated Simpson stopper up by the front of the house today. That is a native. This is the standard Simpson stopper. And you can really tell, you know, having that shell path with that edging really keeps that demarcation of the space. It keeps it looking really clean, you know, really defined. I think it really helps to set it off and finish, you know, the landscape. It's definitely a lot of upfront costs, but in the long run, you know, look what you get. Look how beautiful this looks. I think there's a lot of value there in that. You can see we've put banana circles in on each gutter on the house, longevity spinach, lots of perennial pentas, pineapple guava hedge going along the house, CISO spinach along the front. Over here on this side, we have a prefla of just different fruit trees. We added some peaches yesterday, Barbados cherry. You can see the Fakahatchee grass is starting to flower. Mulberry tree, strawberry tree, lychee, loquat, longan. Of course, you know, sweet almond. We added another apple banana yesterday. That one's in really rough shape. Grafted white sapote just went in. Got some caliandras. We've got some native wax myrtle. We added some of this John Starnes, Florida Cracker Rose, good friend of mine that passed away a few months ago. That's a patented variety here for Florida that does really well. I don't do a lot with roses, but that is one that we use fairly often. There's the other peach, native firebush, chaya. Lots of mimosa peanut in here as a ground cover. You could see that was that one little plant filling in that space, one little plant filling in that space. And the idea is within a year, within 2 years, that this all connects as a living ground cover. Mexican sunflower hasn't yet been cut back. Vitex, dwarf everbearing mulberry. Looks like we got an avocado, black Suriname cherry, a couple of mangoes. And we're up here in the back of the house. This is the north face, so that was south face on the front. You're gonna have better lighting on the front of the house. And towards the back of the house, you know, we connected the paths. It goes all the way around. We put in some raised beds over here. You can see we use those water troughs. We really like using those for raised beds. Added some elderberry back here towards this wet area, and this is really close to where that bubbling spring is that seems to just bubble out and go this way. So this whole back bed is really moist. We did plant mangoes back here. We put them on mounds. We could definitely use some ground cover back here still, but here's a really great identifier. When you see this dollar weed, you know, that is the first sign of having just moisture. Wet feet, you know, it doesn't drain out, and you can just look here on the other side of the fence and it's sopping. You can see some water there in that spot. I actually see little puddles, and there's literally seeping springs around here. So elderberry takes the wet feet really well, and from what I'm understanding is here for phase 4 or 5, I'm going to be talking to the neighbor here behind us, and we're going to be clearing a road. They have an easement to come in over here, and Joe and Angeline have a goal of putting a 2-story small barn here in the back of the property. That, you know, that dry creek really closed off the access for big stuff getting up to the house. They have those walking paths, but they have an easement coming in through the backside. There's a 30-foot easement to where they could drive a car in here on the back, have another barn. So really cool for the next phase. Will be, you know, awesome to watch that develop. They do have a little grass area kind of left for that puppy. And you can see these raised beds. We're kind of getting towards the end of summer season, and we've already got, or towards the end of winter, and we're already starting to get some of those summer crops in the beds. I see some peppers, some eggplants. So really cool project, really neat, unique piece of land and location, being surrounded by woods on 2 sides. This isn't something you usually see in the city area. Another spiral ginger. Looks like we got some more veggie starts ready to go out. And this is going to be the chicken coop area. So this part of Tampa, you know, chicken coops are very common. They're going to do basically a big frame with the hardware cloth on top of it to keep some hens here in the backyard. You could see the purple possum passion fruit taking off on the fence, parlor maple hibiscus, katuk, shampoo ginger, katuk, another passion fruit taking off. And this is kind of a seating area. This is kind of a meditation spot, an area where you come and you just relax in the morning or do yoga. Just more of a destination in the yard here. I'm in that far northwest hand corner right now. And you can see the lesser galangal, beautiful orchid-like flowers going off. That's some regular shell ginger. This is a special variety of angel trumpet. I believe that's the red cloak. And we've got some more elderberry in here, passion fruit on the fence, malanga, taro, Turk's cap hibiscus, lots of lolat, the Thai pepper leaf, jabadi kaba. You know we can't do a job without putting in the jabadi kabas. Cranberry hibiscus, finger lime, variegated spiral ginger. And this bed has a combination of longevity spinach and standard red firebush. Here's another banana pit. Same thing, kind of connected into that gutter. We dug a pit with an overflow coming out. So once the pit does fill up, once they get done putting the compost in there, if we get a ton of water, that water's just gonna come out and follow the natural flow of the land. Haven't had any problems with that. It's working out pretty well. Cattleya guavas in front of the house. I think that makes a great ornamental front yard tree. Very similar to like what they're putting in your front yard right now with like a ligustrum tree, you know, that umbrella type shape. That can fill in and do that same exact kind of shape for you. Larger Japoticaba in front of the house, Yapun holly. I love using those farfugiums or the tractor seat plant. Makes a beautiful yellow flower. It's not native, but it does really well in some dappled light. Starfruit tree tucked away over here on the side of the house. Lots of galangal, grumichama, and just a really cool planting. So yeah, sorry for not showing this one off to you guys earlier. This is a pretty epic project. It's got some pineapples mixed in here, lots of monstera on the fruit trees, and oh, this is where the Dry Creek exits, and there's actually like a 30-foot hole in this property, like a spring. So I'm sure before there was all houses here, you know, this water naturally came through here, followed the contour of the land, ended up in that spring, and then kept working its way further to the west as it drops downhill. Yapun holly, highest level of caffeine any plant in North America. And then right here in that zone 1 by the front door, yesterday we just added some of these different varieties of edible leaf hibiscus. That's the skinny leaf. This is the fat leaf that can be used as a wrap, basically. You know, wrap right in your front door, come outside. Oh yeah, the big olive here in the front yard. I forgot to mention that. Put a large arabiquina in, and the color of that tree and the form of that tree, I believe, is probably one of the most aesthetic trees you could add in the front yard. But it also blended really well with that gray color of the house. So I like how the shell picked up the trim. I think everything really just worked out here well. You can see we've got a real mix of size of rock. I've got 6 to 12 inch boulders. I got 12 to 3 foot boulders, and then at the main base of 3/4 to 1.25 inch river rock. So you can see we added a blue Java banana yesterday. Lots of coral honeysuckle here. That's a sweet almond. There's the monstera. There's the passion fruit already taking off up the tree. And Ian's back here just starting to plug in these 3-gallon bamboos. And over there by the Dry Creek, we did put in 15-gallon and 7-gallon bamboos, but they're much more expensive. Bamboo is a super fast growing crop, probably one of the fastest in the world. It's the grass. So if you're willing to wait a little bit, you can definitely start small with those, and within a couple of years, you get the impact that you're looking for. Jujube. That one looks like it took a little bit of planting shock. Oh, hey.
Hey, pound dirt.
Pound dirt, he says. All right, we got some Camellia simensis. That's the true tea. We've got a long leaf and a short leaf variety. Inga, nitrogen fixing ice cream bean. Really epic variety of spiral ginger. This one makes a yellow side cone. The bottom of the leaf literally feels like silk. Pretty excited about that. Got some begonias in here. Those do have edible flowers on them. They're pretty cool looking. I got that silverberry, the Iliagnus latifolia. Does really well in the shade, really common one at the Asian markets. That's the Ben's Butte, cherry of the Rio Grande. Here's that camellia. This is a blue turmeric. I have blue turmeric here, green turmeric here, white turmeric here, orange turmeric here. Oh, let's get a close-up of this bad boy. So that's that red and yellow spiral ginger. All right, so another passion fruit going up the tree. More bamboos going in up along the back. Spiral ginger, and I believe this last tree, as you are leaving the gate on the right, would be that patomba. And then we've got a little wall of galangal going in over here behind the ipe fence, kind of separating the two. So, whoa, look who just showed up. I'm not wearing my mask, I'm in trouble. I'm just joking. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this quick little walkthrough, epic little projects. And just so you guys know, I like doing projects like this that don't have any type of design. I believe that, in my opinion, that is just it's an extra cost. A lot of extra cost up front, a lot of work on our end. And I can tell you what's really getting me tired is, we've done 10, 20 designs a year, and I'm lucky if I install 8 because, everybody asks for the dream. They want you to build them, everything that's out there and anything that's possible. The name of the company is Green Dreams, so we build dreams. But what happens is they build beyond their budget. They don't give me a budget, and that design doesn't end up hitting the ground. And at the end of the day, I think that probably upsets me more than anything. All that work, all that effort, all that thought that went into that design, to have that pretty piece of paper. If you really want to get something done, if you really want to get me out of your property, you tell me, Pete, this is what I got, this is where we are, this is our budget, when can you get out here? And that's going to get you action. That's going to make it happen even a little bit faster. Even with that pretty design, that pretty piece of paper, there's field adjustments. When we get out here to the job, not everything is going to be exactly the same it is on that piece of paper. So I just feel like it is nice to have for the long term, especially when you're on scale. But if you're on a little scale and you want to make something happen quick, this is the way to get it done. Joe and Angeline definitely made the right steps to get me out here fast, and I'm super excited about this project. I'm super excited to see it grow. I can tell you, just in the few months since we've installed it and coming back and seeing the growth on some things is unbelievable. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed this epic little urban kind of food forest / meditation garden. I had a blast here just being able to get loose in the yard, put plants where I wanted to put them. I think everything really turned out quite great. I hope you guys feel the same way. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, please go ahead and do so. And most importantly, pound dirt.